All right, so there's five major points of sci-fi that we're going to go over quickly, um, just so we have a better grasp on what we should be looking for as we're reading a story to identify if, in fact, it is science fiction. So our first major point is futuristic settings. So you may often see that the story is taking place in outer space or in the future, or maybe even in underground Earth. So if the story, is introducing this futuristic setting, immediately you should know, oh, this is sci-fi. Our second major point of science fiction is that as you're reading a story or a novel, you may notice that they're introducing futuristic science and technology that's ahead of our time, or even ahead of the time that the story is taking place. So if our story is taking place in the year, 1970, and they're talking about something that is far advanced from that time period, it could still be considered a futuristic science and technology example. So in addition to the text I have, there is of course some visuals to give you an idea. So some examples, we could have ray guns, supercomputers, teleportation devices, time or space travel. So you can think like a wormhole or faster than light, just to give you a few examples along the way. Our third major point of sci-fi. So as you're reading, you may notice that the government or political system that's being described is, a little different than what maybe we're accustomed to. So on the right, I have three pretty popular novels, one we read together in the beginning of the year, that all have a sci-fi element in them pertaining to government. So Dystopian Society is very popular for a lot of young adult books. So there may be examples of dehumanization, where we're stripping away what makes a person a person. So if we think back to The Giver, that daily medication that they were given that was numbing their emotions, that would be an example of dehumanization. Totalitarian governments, where the government has total control over its citizens. They don't get a lot of choice or freedom. And just to note, a lot of times a story may have these political systems due to some type of environmental disaster or some, major war that has had everyone rethink the government system as a whole. Our last major point of sci-fi, the characters themselves. So we may have aliens from outer space, or beings that look like humans and act like humans, but they have supernatural human powers. Maybe they have the ability to control individuals with their mind. Maybe they have the ability to move things using telekinesis. Or maybe they have the ability to read a person's mind, and we're thinking of telepathy. So if you're a fan of Stranger Things like I am, I had to include Eleven on our slides. She looks like a regular human, but we know that she has some supernatural, superhuman powers. And then a more traditional character, of course, E.T., an alien from outer space. Now, I know this was a super, super quick review of some of the major elements of sci-fi, which is why I've included a resource as well. In class, we normally fill in the blanks together while we're viewing a slideshow or a Powtoon. So I filled in the blanks for you. So you have the slides as well as the resource to help you as you're, reading the stories that we're going to check out together in our sci-fi unit.